Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of A Dairyman's Diary. My name is Frank, as always, your humble host. And today we are, well, it's a lovely autumnal morning. The rain stopped, which is an absolute treat. We are just finishing up at the dairy. We've dropped off our last load of milk for this morning. And we're going to go back. We've got a few yard things to do before we're going to do a little bit of field work today. We've got the cultivator hooked up to the vulture, so we need to get on with that. And then, yeah, we're also looking to try and get the contractor in the coming few days to get our maize cleared up. So in order for us to do that, we need to kind of tidy up around the yard and empty the pit the maize is going to go into and all that malarkey. So we're going to get onto that very soon. But first we need to just go back to the yard. We shifted the combine yesterday. We've got that away from the yard now, and the header as well. So that's cleared up a little bit more space, so we can kind of park things out of the way a bit. The combine has gone down to the sheep shed, so it's nice and tucked out the way there, really. As you can see, our crops are starting to come through, our winter crops at least, and then we're going to come in here and work on this field on our right, get that one worked through. So yeah, I'm very happy with how the winter crops are going in, actually. Considering some of the conditions they were drilled in, they've established, so that's fantastic news. And we'll keep an eye on it moving forward. So I'm very pleased with that. But like I say, now we're just going to get ourselves back into the yard here. We fed everything up this morning. Everything is well, nice and done there, clean and tidy as well. But it's just things like the silage pit here. We've got a few bales and forks and things to clear out the way. The milk tank can go back into the corner. There we go. Just about. Straighten up a little bit there. That'll do it perfectly. And we'll switch it off. We don't need the John Deere again for a while, so I can stay here. Like I say, we've finished. I've decided everything we've drilled to date is going to be it. We're not going to put any more crops in the ground now. It's getting a bit too wet and cold to do that, so we're going to leave those until the spring. We'll have a couple of spring crops. But yeah, we've got a few little things. What I'm going to do is just jump into the JCB, and we'll get rid of take the forks off the front first. Perfect. So how are you all doing today? Hope you're all very well. I hope your weekend is treating you fine. I record this, it is a Sunday morning, so we're up nice and early, as we always are when you got dairy cows. There's no real rest, unfortunately. What I'm going to do, I'm going to need this to move that silage bit. We might give that straight to the cattle, actually. Just add it on to the rations for the day. And we'll get rid of that silage grab now. But yeah, once we get this maize done, we're pretty much set for the winter. I am looking into the possibility of, I'm trying to find, I need to either increase the capacity of the current slurry lagoon, or we need to find an alternative method for storing slurry, like getting a field tanker to keep it somewhere, because our lagoon is filling up very quickly now, nearly a little too quickly. So that's that's one of our next projects. This can just go here for now. Lovely stuff. And we also need to clean that plough down and get that under cover, which we might do today, actually. And that's finished. We need to put a nice, like, kind of grease up the mold boards on there and give it a nice shine. Just stops the rust coming through a little bit over the winter. So we'll definitely get onto that. And I've left my lights on again. Surprise. So we're going to just keep tidying up here. We're going to get a few little things done, a few things shifted around. After that, we're going to probably look into firing up the vulture and getting out to do some field work. So we'll come back to you when we're up and away. Okay then, folks. Just had a quick cup of coffee this morning. breakfast seems like quite a long time ago, so just need to get a little bit refueled and we're ready to go. We are going to jump into the voucher. Everything is service ready to go in this. We haven't really used this a great deal so far, so it's looking nice and clean. We've gone for a lot of the conventional cultivation really. So what we are going to do now though is just get this fired up. Lovely stuff. We're just going to work over some stubble land really. This was wheat stubble that we're just going to work over. We're going to leave it for the winter. I am in 2 minds. I might put a cover crop into it actually, just to help fixate some of the nitrogen in there. But we will see how it's turning over when we get in there. I don't actually have any cover crop seed at the moment, so that's the issue. And that's something I can always look into after we've got our maize crop harvested. That's going to be the main thing. But we're going to have a look-see. Just see what trouble. It's going to be a little bit sticky, so we might have to see how much we can actually get done and what we're going to have to leave. Just make sure we don't take up my gate post there. This is probably one of the biggest pieces of equipment we have here. This is a 4-meter cultivator. Takes some pulling. The Vulture is really the only tractor that will pull it well, and that won't struggle on any of the hills we have around here. So this is predominantly the cultivation tractor anyway, so it's a good match for it, to be honest. And we're just going to rumble on down the hill here. Oh, stop. And I think, yeah, we'll get out, we'll open the gate. We're going to reverse into this field just because it's going to be a fraction easier to get in. So as you can see, it is still quite dry in here as well, so it might turn over quite well actually. Not a particularly big field, it's only about 5-6 acres, but it's it'll be a good one just to get this worked over with. Cars come in here. Some of these gates are on a real odd angle. Never understood why they were put in like this. It wasn't me who did them, that's for sure. But yeah, they're a little bit peculiar. Okay. Stop. Thank you very much. These brakes need to be checked over. I think they're getting a little bit weak. Alright then, so we're going to get ourselves set up here and see how we're going to have to lug this thing up a hill. But we'll do it. I have faith in the Vulture. We'll get this set up and we'll get cracking. Well, it doesn't particularly like it too much on that hillside there, but she's pulling her up the field, which is all that we can ask for. The surface is a little bit slippy still from some of the rain we've had recently, but it's getting there. We'll get up here. It shouldn't take us too long to get this field worked out. As you can see, 4 meters is making this pretty quick going, but we can only do what we can do. And yeah, we're going to just get this turned over, see how it dries out there, and like I say, hope to get a cover crop in, but we'll have to wait and see really. But yeah, it's very nice, easy going. As I mentioned here, this was previously spring wheat. Now, unfortunately, we just couldn't get around to drilling it this year. The autumn was a little bit unkind to us really, so we had to leave it, but we'll probably put it into a cover crop like I say, or leave it just turned over and we'll get it drilled in the spring there. We'll probably put it into spring barley, and then we'll get it drilled for a winter crop after that, so it's not too big a deal. The main reason, as I've mentioned several times before, is that we grow our cereal crops here primarily for straw. That's our biggest need, so that's what we'll be doing again this year. Currently, as it stands right now, we typically use about between 3 and 4 round bales of straw a day, which is a lot, but it's what we have to do to keep the cows clean and tidy. So we're gonna have to continue that, and so we always need to make sure that we have plenty in supply, which we should be okay for this year. We'll just have to see how it goes. I think. It's a beautiful winter's morning though. The sun is nice and low, got some great shadows cast across the fields here. The weather is supposed to be good all day actually, so hopefully this continues. But we will see. I'm hoping we get a nice dry day today so it dries everything out, because that maize field is wet and we're going to be coming into there in the next, well hopefully in this week some point, with a view to getting that all finished up. So it's going to have to try and dry out a little bit for us to have any chance of getting that cleared. It's not the biggest field, but yeah, it's going to need to be cleared off pretty quickly. So with that in mind, I've spoken to my contractor on a few occasions. He looks like he's going to be good to go. We'll have to get him in and see, but yeah, we just need to figure out what day is going to be good. And yeah, that'll be us done for forage then. We've got plenty of silage bales as well. Hay we're looking good for after that load we got the other day. And then it's just the maize crop, and that should see us through to the spring when the grass grows again. Hopefully. Elsewhere on the farm, financially we are doing very well. You may have seen it's our bank balance is looking very healthy at the moment. So we might look into a few different things with that. I'm very inclined to look to see if I can buy a bale wrapper to stop having to contract that out. There's a few of you have rightly commented on our videos as well when we've brought someone in that we should look into getting one, but the cost was never quite there, so we'll have to wait and see. Do some looking over the winter, see if I can find a nice one to buy. And then after that, yeah, we're just in a very comfortable position. I'm not sure what we'll do. Before the tax year runs out, we'll always see if we can invest in something, just because if we don't spend the money, the tax man will take it. So that's the way I always look at things, but we'll figure that one out as well, and see what we can find. Elsewhere though, we've got most of the equipment we do need. I think I am going to look into either a slurry lagoon, like a mobile lagoon storage tank, or failing that, I might see if I can get the excavator driver in who dug the foundations for the house. I might see if we can get him in to dig out the slurry pit a little bit, make it a little bit deeper. I think that could be worthwhile. But for that, we have to empty it first, and it is pretty darn full. So maybe we have to borrow a lagoon first to empty it, and then we'll take it from there. Right now, though, as you can see, we're making some good progress through this field. It's turning over quite nicely. So I think we'll continue. We'll see how we get on here. We'll get this all wrapped out, and then we'll head back on up to the yard. Alright then, folks, we're just about done. We've got this bottom little headland to wrap up, and then we'll get ourselves back on up to the yard. I fancy what we'll do, we're going to take off the cultivator. It's not too dirty actually at the minute either. It gets cleaned off. Pop that into the shed, and then we're also going to clean off the service the plough and put that away as well. And then we're pretty much good for our cultivation work for the winter, I think. The field on the hillside there is going to be left set aside as it is until spring, so we're not going to touch that one, but we'll come back into that in the springtime, that's for sure. Yeah, as you can see, it's kind of worked over very nicely there. No, it hasn't really balled up. When the soil gets damp, it starts to roll and ball up a little bit. It hasn't done that at all, which is great to see. Yeah, it looks very, very well worked down actually. So we might look to see if we can get someone in to broadcast some cover crop onto there. I think would be a smart move. And then yeah, we are good to go. The reason we're kind of storing, many of you may remember we stored a lot of our equipment over at the sheep yard, like our combine, and all of our cultivators and our mowers. They were all stored down there. I am looking at possibly clearing that space out, and that we only use the main shed there to store things in. We don't really use any of the yard itself, so what we might do is look to see if we can lease that out, because we just don't need it, to be honest. It's space that it would kind of be a sublease really, because we rent it already, and we don't really, it's rent that we're paying for nothing at the moment. We don't have sheep down there. The land we still use, but the facilities we don't need. So that might be something we look into. I'm just trying to figure that out at the moment. The combine is down there at the moment, but we can probably, there's a few barns we could maybe put that into to keep it out of the way, or we might even rejig the equipment in the new storage shed we built, and we could possibly get it all into there. So that's where my thinking is at the moment. Now, once we've got straw stacked in 2 different sheds at the moment on the main yard there, and if we can clear that out and swap it around, we're working on the straw pile on the back shed at the moment. If we get that cleared, then we can probably put the combine into there. But we'll, again, it's just kind of trying to figure out if we've got enough room and space to do all of this so that we don't have to pay for unnecessary storage facilities. Now what I want to do, I'm going to reverse out of here onto the road because I can get back up the hill that way. That's perfect. And out we go. I don't think there's anything coming. I'm going to put my lights on just in case. Ooh, there's a gate post there. Let's not hit the gate post. That's better. Lovely stuff. God, the council really slapped the asphalt down here. Look at the drop off there. Okay, and we're done. Onwards to the next one. There we go. Oh, we need to shut that door as well before we go too much further. Perfect. So we're going to get this parked up into the yard, and then we'll do a little bit of shaking around of equipment, and that'll probably see me through to lunch, I would say. So we'll get back up to the yard and we'll get this all sorted out. Oh, perfect. As you can see, that it doesn't really take much of a clean off, but it's sparkling still, which is good. Always look after your equipment and not look after yourself, as my old man and my granddad used to say as well. Which is why, well, up until the international incident, my equipment was doing pretty well for itself up until then. And now we're going to stick this in the corner by the hay bales. And then should, if we put this right in against the wall, we should have plenty of space to get the plough in here as well, I should hope. So we're going to hook up onto the plough and then we'll get this put away. At this stage, I think we're just going to do a little bit of yard shunting around and get things tidied up. Hopefully the next time we come back to you, we will indeed be in the pit after we have been able to successfully clear our maize crop. So the chopper and the team should hopefully be coming later on this week, and I think we will probably be just working the pit down actually. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. It's probably not going to take too long to do, as it's only the one field there, but yeah, watch this space. But until then, thank you ever so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed. If you have, please don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to Simulation for the Nation, who very kindly hosts my videos here. And we will see you in the next one. So until then, do stay safe, enjoy what you're doing as always, but most importantly, happy farming.